Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 497 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin didn't know if his words would have any use, and even he was in a state of confusion. After a long time, he picked up the pill. A moment later, he let out a sigh and walked away. He walked on planet Suzaku by himself. He didn't stay in one place but crossed countless mountains and rivers with his comprehension of the world. He walked from one country to another. The years went by, and Wang Lin devoured that pill. The pill gave him endless energy and the strength to fulfill his wish of traveling the world. On his way, he saw countless strange faces. Among them, some kind, some fierce, some confused, and some stubborn. He encountered robbers and bandits, but every time he encountered them, he only had to stand there and they would feel that mighty aura coming from him. Wang Lin could frighten cultivators, so there was no need to talk about mortals. As he walked, his face became even more old, but his eyes became even brighter. They contained his endless wisdom and comprehension. This allowed his mind to be reborn and evolve. He went to too many cities and saw too many people. He even went to many capital cities. Among the many imperial capitals and officials, Wang Lin's temperament and words caused people to slowly respect him. He even saw many emperors that enjoyed high status. In his eyes, these people were all the same. There was no difference. It wasn't that there weren't people that wanted his life, but anyone who had that feeling would end up backing away in or before Wang Lin. The country of Wu, inside the palace surrounded by thousands of soldiers. If the emperor gave a command, the army would move. He wanted Wang Lin to stay and become the country of Wu's grand scholar. But in the end, Wang Lin smiled, shook his head, and he left. Thunder rumbled in the sky and the sky changed colors. The thousands of soldiers didn't dare to block him. After he left, they all clasped their hands toward him. In the country of Sun, the Emperor of Sun and his countless subjects followed Wang Lin thousands of kilometers to send him off. In the country of Heavenly Dog, there were countless evil people, but in the end, when Wang Lin left, he reformed tens of thousands of people. As he walked, the name, Grand Scholar Wang Lin, set off a storm on planet Suzaku. This storm became even more intense and was remembered by countless people. Along the way, Wang Lin saw countless mountains. He stood on the mountains and looked at the world, feeling its might. He also met immortals, a lot of strange and familiar figures. On planet Suzaku, there were many sects in these cultivation countries. Many of them built their sects in beautiful mountains, but some were built in dangerous areas as well. Every mountain he passed, if Wang Lin wanted to, he could walk into a sect based off the feeling in his heart without deliberately looking for it. Although the power of the sect protection formations varied, none of them could stop Wang Lin. He would then be detected by all the shocked cultivators inside the sect. Even the elders that were in closed-door cultivation for countless years would be awakened from the powerful aura coming from Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin calmly entered and calmly left. He only looked at the mountain, enjoyed the scenery, and comprehended the world. As for others, they were all the same to him. Even among the cultivation world, the name of the mortal grand scholar Wang Lin slowly spread. The cultivators knew that on planet Suzaku, there was a grand scholar that even cultivators felt awe and respect for. They didn't feel awe for his power but his thoughts. Whether it is immortal or mortal, all of them are leisurely beings. Wang Lin left some of his words everywhere he went. Among cultivators, many talked to him to gain insight and comprehend the world. They formed their own domains and reached the soul formation stage. Even those that were already at the soul formation stage or beyond came to talk to him and were still shocked by his words. 1 year, time passed, and in the blink of an eye, it had been 12 years. During these 12 years, Wang Lin had gone to many places. His name had unknowingly spread to many places he hadn't been. 12 years ago, he left Zhao by himself. 12 years later, he was still alone as he walked across planet Suzaku. On this day, as the snow fell, Wang Lin arrived at the capital of a country he didn't know the name of. This country was very big, it was equal to 3 Zhaos. Wang Lin had come to this capital city in his dream. He stood outside the gate as the snow fell, and a hint of melancholy appeared on his old face. He tightened the coat around him and entered the city. Walking on the snow on the ground, Wang Lin entered a very quiet street in the city. There were shops on both sides, but there were very few people in the shops. Looking at the familiar place, the images from his dream became even more real. It was as if this dream was overlapping with what he was seeing. Wang Lin entered a trance as he slowly walked forward. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of iron being hit came from the distance. Wang Lin looked over and saw a blacksmith shop with his old eyes. Inside the shop, there was a middle-aged man who had his stout upper body revealed as he held a hammer and struck the iron. Although snow was falling, the man didn't feel cold at all. He continued to swing the hammer, creating that sound. Beside the man was a small chair where a 7 or 8-year-old boy sat, dressed in a thick, cotton coat. His face was flushed and he looked excitedly at the man. Daimyo, Wang Lin's eyes became blurry and he gently shook his head. The child before him was not the daimyo from his dream. Senior, you have stood outside for a long time, come inside to warm up. The man put down his hammer and wiped away his sweat. He turned to Wang Lin outside the shop and smiled. Wang Lin was stunned for a moment before he nodded with a smile. He went into the blacksmith shop, the hot air melting a lot of the snow on his body. Wife, bring some good, warm wine. The man put on a coat. Seeing that Wang Lin was old, he helped Wang Lin sit down and sat down beside Wang Lin. The man smiled. Senior is not a local. Wang Lin looked at the shop and softly said, I came here once more. Now that I passed by here again, I came to look around. The boy that was 7 or 8 years old looked curiously at Wang Lin. When he heard his mother's voice, he got up and ran over. Shortly after, he appeared with a middle-aged woman with a wine jug. The woman looked virtuous and poured a cup of wine for Wang Lin with pity in her eyes. Senior, the weather is cold, drink a cup of wine to warm your body. Did you come here to look for your relatives? Wang Lin smiled but didn't speak. He picked up the wine and took a sip before drinking the entire cup. Senior, the wine of my Seng family is pretty good, right? Ha ha. My grandfather was not a blacksmith but a wine seller. It was me who opened up the blacksmith shop. The man picked up his cup and laughed after drinking it. The fire in the shop was very strong and formed a powerful contrast against the snow outside. It forced the coldness from the snow out. Wang Lin sat there and drank the Seng family's wine. He couldn't tell if this was a dream or not. After a long time, when the snow became lighter, Wang Lin got up and said his goodbyes. The man felt pity toward Wang Lin and gifted him some wine to warm his body. When Wang Lin left, the sky was dark, but thanks to the snow, the ground was very bright, allowing him to see far. As he walked, the light from the blacksmith shop disappeared behind him. He walked further away as the moonlight dragged his shadow. After that brief rest, Wang Lin seemed to have understood something. He still walked across planet Suzaku and went to many places. It was now the 15th year since Wang Lin left Zhao. He was now in his early 70s. His spine was even more bent and his body gave off the feeling of his twilight years, but his eyes became as bright as the sun. No one dared to look at his eyes. His eyes contained karma, contained life and death, contained true and false. Not even his teacher, Su Dao, had this temperament. In the summer of the 15th year, in a strange country, the rain fell and Wang Lin stood inside a pavilion next to the road. He looked at the rain outside and he could faintly see the sea in the distance through the rain. That sea was very large, it separated 2 continents. On the other side of the sea, there were many countries. That was the last place Wang Lin wanted to go. There was a woman there that he loved in his other life. He had to go take a look. The rain fell until it formed lines. The world became a blur until he could only see the outline. Wang Lin looked at the rain and listened to the sound as he slowly closed his eyes. Just as he closed his eyes, the figure of a woman walked closer from the distance. The woman seemed to be surrounded by a cold aura. As she walked closer, cracking sounds echoed and the rain turned into ice. She was holding a baby, and the baby was wrapped in a thick quilt. No rain landed on the baby, and the baby was asleep. The woman stopped before the pavilion. She was middle-aged, but her face was still beautiful and delicate. However, a cold aura gave off a powerful killing intent. "Are you Grand Scholar Wang Lin?" Wang Lin opened his eyes and calmly looked at the woman before nodding. One of them stood inside the pavilion, where there was no rain. The other stood outside the pavilion, and there was also no rain. All the rain turned into ice around her. "I came from Shuiyu and have a question to ask you." The woman's voice was cold, as if it came from the snow. Wang Lin looked at the cold woman and then his gaze fell on the baby wrapped in the quilt. After pondering for a bit, he nodded. The woman's expression was still indifferent and her eyes seemed to contain the winter wind. She looked at Wang Lin and the world behind him. "Your name is famous on planet Suzaku. I have even heard of you all the way in Shuiyu. Sir is a grand scholar that has helped many cultivators comprehend the world. I came today for this child." The woman looked down at the sleeping baby. There was a hint of softness in her cold eyes. The coldness in her voice dissipated somewhat as she looked at the baby in her arms and said, "Everyone says Sir has seen through the world, understands karma, is indifferent to life and death, and walks between true and false. Could you give this child her own path? This child's parents both died when she was born. I just happened to pass by when I saw her. She was already stiff and on the verge of death. I took pity and took a closer look, and I found out that she is extremely talented. She has the aura of the 5 elements in her body. If she survives, she will be a sun for planet Suzaku. However, her life will be a bumpy one. I'm good at divination and divinated that this child will face a calamity. Since I have encountered her, I got myself involved and will become someone to help her pass her calamity. The more she grows, the more the life and death calamity becomes more clear. My cultivation is limited, so I can only use my spell to keep her from growing, keeping her in the state of a baby. I heard Sir is talented, so I sought you out for help." The woman's voice was cold as she spoke softly. Just at this moment, a flash of lightning appeared in the sky and thunder rumbled. The thunder seemed to be too loud and woke the sleeping baby. She opened her pure eyes and began to cry. Even after the thunder passed, the cry of the baby still echoed. Wang Lin looked at the baby and softly said, "Let me hold her." The woman pondered a bit before handing the baby to Wang Lin. Wang Lin held the baby and looked down at her. This was a baby girl. Although she was crying, she was very lovely. There seemed to be a red dot imprinted on her soul. Tears flowed down from her eyes and made the quilt around her wet. It was strange. The girl cried loudly in the woman's arms when she woke up, but in Wang Lin's arms, she slowly stopped crying. Her innocent eyes were open wide as she looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's old face slowly smiled and his right hand gently rubbed the baby girl's nose. The baby girl immediately began to laugh happily. Wang Lin softly asked, "What is her name?" The woman pondered a bit before she said, "Her parents died early, so I don't know either. Over the years, I never gave her a name. How about you give her a name, sir?" Her voice still contained some coldness. Wang Lin looked at the smiling and happy baby girl. He vaguely felt a familiar aura from this baby girl. After a long time, Wang Lin looked up at rain. The distance was covered by the rain. For an instant, a colorful butterfly could be seen taking shelter from the wind and rain. If the butterfly's wings became wet due to the rain, it wouldn't be able to fly. If the butterfly's body was hit by the wind, it was like a hurricane for a person. Looking at the butterfly under the leaf, Wang Lin's eyes revealed enlightenment. He looked at the butterfly for a long time. Let's call her Red Butterfly. The butterfly in the rain with its bright and delicate red light that will walk its proud and bright life. Wang Lin's words were soft and revealed an inexplicable feeling as he looked down at the baby girl. The baby girl seemed to be able to understand Wang Lin's words and laughed even more. I don't know spells and I don't know how to help her avoid her life and death calamity. I have seen something in my dream, and I'll draw it for you. If you can understand it, perhaps it can resolve her life and death calamity. Wang Lin sighed as he handed the baby girl back to the cold woman. He raised his right hand into the rain and headed to the stone table in the pavilion. He closed his eyes as if he was recalling something and began to draw out a complex pattern. This pattern was a formation. This formation was extremely complicated, and it shocked the woman from Shuiyu. She carefully remembered it. After a long time, Wang Lin finished the last stroke and opened his eyes. After you comprehend this, take a strand of the baby girl's hair and place it inside. Wang Lin had a complicated expression as he looked at the sky. The dark clouds began to dissipate. The pattern on the table gradually dissipated with the wind and could not be seen clearly anymore. The woman from Shuiyu closed her eyes for a moment before bowing at Wang Lin. She held the baby and walked toward the rain. Wang Lin didn't look at the woman's back. He stared at the pavilion and watched the rain weaken. There was confusion in his eyes. Karma. Is this karma true like a past life? Or false and I'm just completing it on my own? Wang Lin didn't understand. The rain stopped outside the pavilion and a rainbow appeared. The butterfly that took shelter under the leaf from the rain flew into the air. It flew before Wang Lin and off into the distance. With a sigh, Wang Lin walked out of the pavilion. He walked off into the distance toward the sea. On the 15th year after leaving Jiao, Wang Lin had arrived near the sea. He boarded a merchant ship traveling between the two continents. He was going to see the world over there. The sea was boundless and magnificent. The wind blew and the waves rolled by the merchant ship. Standing on the ship, Wang Lin smelled the sea breeze as his white hair fluttered. The ocean wind blew by, but it couldn't blow away the traces of time. The sun and moon over the sea had their own taste. This was the first time Wang Lin had been out to sea, but he didn't feel any discomfort. He looked at the water and an aura filled his body. The sky above the sea had a group of seagulls flying in circles. The bright sun shrouded the entire sea. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. After 5 months, the merchant ship had completely entered the depths of the sea. As the wind blew and the sailors sang their unique songs, Wang Lin revealed a smile. On a day in the 6th month, it was early morning when the sun had just begun to rise that Wang Lin woke up from all the noise outside. He walked out and saw the sailors he had been with for half a year kneeling on the ground. They were worshipping toward the east. Wang Lin looked over and his body trembled violently. On the surface of the sea to the east, among the hazy sky, an illusory image appeared. The image depicted a volcano mouth, and it was erupting. The mountain trembled and 2 large cracks like 2 dragons entangled together appeared. It was like a sign. Endless lava sprayed out and smoke flew out, covering the sky inside the image. There was no sound, it was only an image. The scene of the volcano erupting caused everyone on the boat to kneel. From far away, the illusory image fused with the world. It looked extremely real but gave off a sense of haziness at the same time. It made it impossible for people to tell if it was real or not. As Wang Lin stared at the illusory world, his mind rumbled. True and false. True and false. The book said that the sea has a spirit named Shen and that its breath creates a mirage. This scene, is it real or is it fake? Does it really exist somewhere or is it only an illusion? Sea spirit, don't be angry. Sea spirit, don't be angry. The mortals trembled and knelt on the ground when they saw this incomprehensible scene. Their hearts trembled. Although it wasn't the first time they had seen it, they hadn't seen it much before. Ancient legends said that if anyone saw an illusion at sea, it was because the sea spirit had been angered and would punish all life at sea. Wang Lin was adaze, so he didn't see that the mortals had all gotten up and dropped a large amount of cargo into the sea. They were trying to give sacrifice to the sea spirit and appease its anger. This should be fake. It doesn't exist, it's a complete illusion. Something like this can't appear in this world. This is not something that happened somewhere in this world. This should be an immortal cultivating under the sea, and his spells are causing this. Wang Lin murmured. He had seen through the truth of the world, but what he saw now was unimaginable. Wang Lin took a deep breath and murmured, "Fake. This is fake, However, his voice suddenly stopped and his eyes widened. His right hand unconsciously raised to point at the illusory volcano in the distance, and disbelief filled his eyes. This? Her. In the illusory image, as the black smoke filled the world, a woman appeared. She wore white, and although not a supreme beauty, she gave off a feeling of tenderness. Her long hair waved and danced with her clothes. She looked like a fairy as she appeared from the dust. This woman walked out from the black cloud and her jade-like hand pointed downwards. The erupting volcano trembled and showed signs of extinguishing. When Wang Lin saw the woman, he seemed to lose all his strength and was stunned there. An unreasonable sense of sadness surged and swept through his body like a storm. His entire body was drowned in sadness and 2 lines of tears flowed down from his eyes. It's her. Wang Lin's body was already old, but now it was even older. He leaned against the boat as he looked at the woman in white inside the illusion. His gaze seemed to last for an eternity. After 1 hour, the illusory image disappeared before everyone, before Wang Lin's eyes. All the crew members still trembled and they remained silent. They couldn't forget what they had seen inside the Imagine, especially those burning rocks that scattered as the volcano erupted. The scene they saw made it so they couldn't tell if it was real or fake, but they knew it was the anger of the sea spirit. Wang Lin leaned against the ship and seemed to lose all his strength. 2 streams of tears flowed down the wrinkles on his face and soaked his clothes. He looked at the image that had disappeared and his mind went blank. The only thing that remained was that delicate, white silhouette. Is this real, or fake? Is it even this a dream? After a long time, Wang Lin shook his head and looked at the sea. Time passed. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. On the 9th month of Wang Lin's journey at sea, he saw the real anger of the sea. At night, the dark clouds covered the sky and thunder rumbled. Lightning flashed and a few bolts seemed to strike deep into the sea. This caused the sky to flicker between darkness and light. Every time lightning flashed, it would light up the sea. During that brief moment of light, you could see the waves surging. The fierce sound of the waves could compete with the thunder. The wind roared across the sea and hit the ship. Every sailor was fearfully struggling between life and death as they manipulated this merchant ship to endure against the wrath of the sea. Every single person was praying. Everyone wanted to leave behind their last words that might not see the light of day again. The storm raged, thunder rumbled, lightning flashed, and monstrous waves raged. Deep in the night, Wang Lin stood on the boat and clung to the pole next to him. His body seemed to lose control, trembling violently. The wind came by once and completely soaked his clothes. Water dripped from his white hair, but his eyes were bright. As he looked at the wrath of the surging sea, his eyes became brighter and brighter. His heart expanded infinitely until it was enough to shroud the world. This is the power of the heavens, this is the real truth. This the mercilessness of nature. Wang Lin laughed. His old laughter was weak compared to the thunder and waves, but it revealed the might of his heart. He watched the mortals struggling to survive. He watched the merchant ship shake violently as if it was going to be submerged and devoured at any moment. Wang Lin looked at all these people and saw the unwillingness in their hearts. However, this unwillingness was a bit weak and was simply insignificant before this wind and rain. As the wind and waves became even more intense, a powerful wave arrived and the mast broke. It landed on a crew member who tried to dodge but was too late. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured and struggled to climb out. He pulled the ropes and continued to struggle for survival. However, the merchant ship was like a lone leaf in the wrath of the sea. It didn't have the power to contest against the waves. The entire ship gave off a sound as if it couldn't bear it anymore and would crumble soon. An aura of despair permeated across the ship and filled everyone's hearts. Wang Lin no longer grasped the pole but joined the sailors, disregarding his old age. He did his best to resist the rage of the sea. "Don't give up, we still have strength," a middle-aged had a grin as he held onto a rope and let the sail down. The waves passed by beside him. At this moment of life and death, he began singing a sailor tune they all knew. A teenager less than 20 years old wiped the sweat from his face and roared, "Don't despair, we still have dreams, It was as if he had found the courage he lost with this roar. "Don't be discouraged, we still have tomorrow," more crew members began to sing amid the wind and waves. Their voices echoed together and fused into a defying sound to live. "Don't give me, we still have the will. Don't close your eyes, we still have to see the sun rise. The heavens and earth are mighty, but they can't cover the voices of our survival. We travel the sea for a living, how can we fear death? The wrath of the sea spirit can frighten us, can drown us, but it can't stop our song." All the crew members began to roar this song that had been passed down since ancient times across the seas of planet Suzaku. The voices gave off a sense of courage, an indomitable spirit, a desire to live, and their fearlessness toward death. Wang Lin's old body trembled when he heard this cry. His eyes shined even brighter than before. This is a defying will. A defying will against the heavens and earth. Life and death, this defying will is born between life and death. It is because of reluctance and unwillingness that this defying will appears. If there was no reluctance and no unwillingness, there would be no life and death. Life is life and death is death. I understand. Wang Lin's mind trembled. He was still confused about karma, life and death, true and false, unable to see through them completely. However, when he heard the sailor's song, he suddenly gained enlightenment. Life and death. Like the mountain sees life and death as death, sees life not as life, death not as death. But in the end, after comprehending everything, you see life as life and death still as death. Everyone has fear toward life and death. It was due to this fear that two paths appeared, one was compliance and one was defying. Complying with life and death was the first realm of life and death. However, if it turned into the defying will, it would mean to see life not as life and death not as death. This was the second realm. People used to say, see through life and death, but in truth, one can't see through life and death. At most, one can only see life and death clearly. With that defying will, one can disregard life and death and say, life is joy and there is no need to be afraid of death. This is a determination to die, but it doesn't mean you have seen through life and death. The third realm of life and death, the truth Wang Lin was searching for, was also not seeing through or surpassing life and death. It was just one line. This line filled Wang Lin's mind, but he couldn't say it. It was as if there was a barrier that prevented him from saying it. In the wind and rain, these words that looked down upon life and death and the unwillingness to submit echoed until the thunder disappeared, the lightning vanished, and the wind and waves calmed down. The night slowly passed and the dawn of the new day arrived. The cries of surviving a life and death ordeal echoed across the ship. Wang Lin looked at them and smiled. He sat at the bow of the ship and looked at the rising sun. He saw the white bird flying in the rising sun, and its cries echoed. On the 11th month at sea, the continent could be seen in the horizon. When they saw the continent, joyous cries came from the boat. Wang Lin said goodbye to the crew he had known for almost a year. He left the merchant ship and arrived on this unfamiliar continent. There were many mortal countries here along with many sects and cultivators he might know from his dream. Among those countries, there was one called Hu Fen. Wang Lin calmly walked in this continent across the sea from his homeland. He looked at the unfamiliar mountains, unfamiliar waters, and those unfamiliar faces as he walked. Although he hadn't come here before in his life, his name had spread to many places in the last 10 years, including this continent. Although he was not as famous as he was in his hometown, Wang Lin didn't care. He was a traveler, and he continued to travel across the continent. He walked through mountains and rivers and through the cities and countries. In a flash, 3 years passed. It has been 19 years since he left Zhao. Wang Lin's body was not as good as before and was getting tired. He held a cane in his hand, but he could still hold on as he walked. He went to a lot of sects. He saw a lot of immortals. He saw a lot of emperors. His name gradually became known by countless people on this foreign continent. No matter what country, no matter what sect, people all knew that there was an old man named Wang Lin who was the grand scholar of this generation. He was traveling through the world, searching for something. His words became fewer as he got older. Often, he wouldn't need to speak, The wisdom in his eyes would cause people to enter a trance from which they didn't know when they would awaken. On the autumn of the 19th year, Wang Lin arrived in a place filled with volcanoes. When he arrived, a volcano erupted far away. Wang Lin could see the black smoke rising in the sky. A heat wave blew by from the distance and landed on his body. Wang Lin raised his head and looked at the black smoke in the sky. His old eyes revealed a gentle gaze that was never seen before. He saw a white figure walking out of the black smoke. This white figure was a woman, and she looked very beautiful. She seemed to be collecting something from the erupting volcano and held a jade bottle in her hand. She turned and saw Wang Lin in the distance. This gaze was something Wang Lin could not forget and made his body tremble. It was as if he had waited more than 1,000 years for that gaze. It was as if he had waited for a lifetime just to come here and see her gaze. This video will end here.